like I mentioned, downloadable resources. There's over we counted the other day, over 200 handouts in these bundles, presentations, food service resources, especially for those college RDs. We have private practice resources, how we have set up our company, and insight into building a private practice.
Hello and welcome to the Eat More Carbs podcast. My name is Jenna Fisher and I'm here with my co-host Riley Beatty. We're very excited for today's episode to chat with you about our past year and the upcoming year at RBSN. Before we get into some of the questions and topics for this podcast, we're going to do our high and low section. Instead of doing our weekly recap, I'd love to hear, Riley, what your high and low are from this past year.
Yeah, so I was thinking about this in preparation because we always do our high and low segment. And I feel like there's been a lot of lows this year, but there's also been a lot of highs. And I feel like the lows are combined with the highs. I'm going to be bad and I'm going to give a couple examples if that's okay. But a big thing for me this year, obviously, was we got pregnant. So that was a huge high. There was so much celebration in that. We're so thankful, so honored, but I haven't had the easiest time. So that was definitely a low. But I am, again, so thankful that I'm pregnant, so thankful that we've had such a great support system. And I'm so thankful for you. And I'm so thankful for the RBSN staff, because if I was at my old job in college athletics or we weren't in private practice together, I honestly don't know how I would have made it through, because I was really, really sick in the beginning and I've had some issues kind of throughout. But being able to rely on a good team, have really great clients, and then also have that flexibility to be able to take time and do the things that I needed to do for my health was super beneficial. So that has to be kind of like my high and my low for 2023.
That's such a great one. And I'm honored to be here and supporting you through this time. But I'm just so excited for you and your growing family.
Thank you. It's been a wild ride. What about you? What are your highs and lows for 2023?
I was thinking about this and I think I have my highs narrowed down to two things. So I'm going to share those because I just can't pick between the two. It's hard to say like low overall because I am very fortunate that this year was just a wonderful year for me. I'm going to share kind of a silly one when it comes to my low. Like I said, I was just really had a great year, very fortunate. My first high is that I moved from Cleveland to Scottsdale, and that was just such an exciting thing to get to do. It was kind of like the next step in my husband's work, our lives. The second thing really was stepping away from the rat race to coming and work with RBSN and joining this team. Probably been the greatest thing that I've ever done, like career as a dietitian. I've never been in a position that allows me to do what I want to do when I want to do it. But I also get to do wonderful things like sit down and talk to you during this podcast and talk about like things happening in the world of nutrition, which you don't really get that if you're kind of working just, back to back all day long, visiting patients in a hospital or something like that. You kind of miss out on, the fun side of nutrition, and bringing that fun back into nutrition has been huge for me professionally, personally, kind of bringing that joy back into like why I got into the field in the first place. So really big things for me there. My low for the year, this is so silly. I miss where I lived in Cleveland a lot, and I knew that I would because it was just such a great area. I think my low is that I had a whole bunch of like restaurants and places that I wanted to go before we left Cleveland, and I just didn't get to go to all of them. So as silly as that sounds, like I have that nostalgia when I look back on our time there. I really do love it. I have Cleveland pride. I will always be a Cavaliers fan, and I miss that part of our life. It was really exciting part of our life. Like we got engaged, we got married while we were living in Cleveland, like just things like that. So I just miss that part of our life, and knowing that part of our life, like I have a lot of appreciation for it.
Cleveland is like a low-key foodie city.
Yeah, they have good food. If you're ever in Cleveland, the best place to go get pizza is this place called Il Rione. They have like 4 pizzas on their menu. Get the one with the hot honey on it. I don't remember what it's called, but it's the best pizza I've ever had in my life, hands down.
Yum.
Also, Kevin Love eats there, so I trust his recommendation.
It has to be good.
Right? Yeah.
Well, lots of like exciting things happened in 2023 and hopefully are going to continue into 2024. What are you looking forward to the most in 2024? I can't believe it's already here.
I know, it's crazy. I think I have a lot of things that I'm really excited about, but this kind of plays off of my high from moving to RBSN and getting to work with clients here is my one-on-one clients that I know are coming in this next year. I love creating that connection with people. I still get like text messages and emails from clients in the past that will be like, Merry Christmas, Happy Thanksgiving, and things like that. And just knowing that like we have more of a personal like connection beyond just the things that we maybe met about in the first place. I think one of my biggest things that I'm like very excited about and helping clients in the new year, I had a previous client reach out to me and tell me about their experience like traveling and not having any stress around food. Because I love really like connecting with clients and making sure that they feel comfortable, like whether that be moving across the country or just traveling for a little bit of a time and knowing that they can like eat without food fear and food restriction, helping active women make sure that they fuel their bodies properly, but also making sure that we like really reduce that fear that's around food. And especially like walking into the new year, there's a lot of pressure to like eat a specific way or have new goals that are around eating and things like that. And I love that time of year and kind of reframing that mindset around food and working through some of those struggles, because most of us do unfortunately have some type of a strained relationship with food at some point in our life.
I love what you said about like the travel, because something that I've noticed and I see with the clients that, you know, just come through RBSN is that yes, their relationship with food changes and improves, but that also just helps their life improve, right? They can travel without stressing about what they're eating. They can take pictures confidently. They can not look at 16 restaurant menus because they're, you know, worried about what they're going to eat. It's just a very freeing experience. And it's really hard to put into words and hard to describe unless you have gone through it, which we've both kind of gone through it personally, and now we help people professionally. But it is a wild experience that is hard to put into words.
I've mentioned this before. I've been a little bit of a tumbleweed as far as how many states I've lived in since I graduated from undergrad. And one of the things that was very comforting to me, especially kind of going through my own patterns with food or my own relationship with food, was having grocery stores that I knew exactly what I was going to get, where I was going to get it, and I didn't have to worry about that. Moving from place to place, everywhere you move has different chains of supermarkets and things like that. And I remember when I moved to Kansas and they didn't have anything that I was really familiar with. When I was still struggling with that kind of relationship and maybe that control and that familiarity with food, moving across the country stressed me out a little bit because I wasn't familiar with the types of grocery stores that they had and what would be available in those grocery stores. But as my relationship with food improved and I would move across the country, I didn't need to look up like what grocery store do I need to go to get what I need? Do I need to look up, you know, what brands do they carry or what their brand is specifically? So moving to Ohio, moving to Arizona, like I wasn't even thinking about those things. In the past, I would Google like what grocery stores are in this city and things like that because I wanted to know and be familiar ahead of time. I didn't even think about that moving across the country. That wasn't even remotely on the map of like concerns or things I wanted to know ahead of time.
I love that. It's great. And now you live next to a Trader Joe's, which is amazing. And I'm jealous because my Trader Joe's is 30 minutes away.
It's one of the things that I'm very fortunate for living where I do right now, is being so close to a Trader Joe's, because you've known this since you've met me, is that Trader Joe's will always have a special place in my heart. I just like their stuff.
It's so fun. It makes fueling fun.
Yes. And fueling should be fun. I think that's another thing I love to work with people is like fueling should be fun. It should be enjoyable. It shouldn't be something that's causing like stress and anger and frustration all the time.
Exactly. So you mentioned that you're doing a lot of one-on-one coaching starting in the beginning of this year. If somebody's listening and is like, hey, like I might be interested in some accountability help, some one-on-one coaching, I need some support, like meeting my goals this new year, what does a one-on-one package or one-on-one experience look like with you?
We have a couple of different options because we understand that everybody's a little bit different. So working with me, you can choose to work with me monthly, bi-weekly, or weekly, depending on what level of support you'd like to see. We also have a completely HIPAA compliant platform that we work with clients through. So you have messenger support where you can send essentially text messages to me throughout the day if you have questions, comments, or concerns. We also do a whole bunch of other things kind of behind the scenes one-on-one with our clients once they are onboarded into the program, which I think is one of the very unique things that RBSN does. because is we want to get that full picture to make sure that everything that we are doing is very tailored to the client that we're working with, instead of looking at somebody as just like we bring them on and then you talk to your dietitian. It's we onboard you into the RBSN community, into the RBSN family. And then beyond that, we have group calls. We do try our best to make it a community, because that's what everybody's really looking for, is like to know that you're not alone in the struggle when it comes to your food, whether your goals are to improve your relationship with food, or maybe it's body composition, sports performance, whatever it is, like community and knowing that you're going through something that someone else is, experiencing at the same time is just a nice thing to know that like you have friends in the space.
I always joke with my new clients that I say, like, at the end of our time working together, you're going to be sick of me because you're going to see so much of me. We're going to talk a lot. You're going to be at those group calls. We have those one-on-one sessions. So you're going to be sick of me in a couple of months.
I'm sure you get the same thing though, where you still have those clients that you did see quite frequently who want to reach out to you and congratulate you on your pregnancy, wish you happy birthday, like things like that. You do create those like lasting friendships with people. And I think that that's one of the really special things about being in the private practice space, is you have the opportunity to do that.
I mentioned this in my high section, but I would have not been able to make it through, especially my first trimester, if I didn't have such amazing clients and amazing athletes that I worked with. The amount of understanding, or like me messaging people and being like, hey, I can't meet today, or like I have to, go to the doctor or go to hospital or something like that. And everybody was just so understanding. I'm so thankful for the amazing people that we get to work with. Like, I'm seriously so honored, because just like you said, like I feel like you come into like the RBSN family and there's just such amazing people that we work with. And I'm just so thankful for those people.
Well, we've talked a lot about what I'm excited for in this new year. What are you most excited for?
Yeah. So with RBSN, we have a lot of exciting new things that are coming, right? We have you running the lifestyle nutrition program. You're going to be taking on a lot of new clients in 2024, which is awesome. And I'm super excited for that, to kind of expand our services to more, active adults. We're also going to be expanding our services through our RBSN library, which I'm super, super excited about. This is a new project that we've taken on over the last couple of months. And this is really going to help increase the availability of resources that athletes, registered dietitians, RDs to be, and other individuals working in sports have access to. So I'm super, super pumped about the library.
We went back and forth on what we should call this product that we were launching, and we landed on library because there are different options to choose from. Can you talk through a little bit about some of those different options that will be available?
In the library, we're going to have two main options. We have our bundle option, and then we also have a variety of downloadable resources, which are basically a collection of the resources that we use at RBSN. We're increasing accessibility of these products to the community because we understand that individuals are at different parts of their fueling journey, or maybe at different parts of their business or their career journey. So we wanted to help increase resources that are available to these individuals. We're really, really excited. We have 4 bundles, and bundles are basically going to be these packages that we offer with a ton of customizable, downloadable, and educational resources for practitioners. So we're going to have a college RD nutrition bundle. We're going to have a sports nutrition private practice bundle. So these bundles are going to be, like I mentioned, downloadable resources. There's over, we counted the other day, over 200 handouts in these bundles, presentations, food service resources, especially for those college RDs. We have private practice resources, how we have set up our company, and insight into building a private practice. And then when we look at the downloadable resources, we have a bunch of content, like I mentioned, that we use within our RBSN programming, but we're just making that available and accessible for individuals who may not be ready to jump into a one-on-one program yet.
What made you decide that you wanted to bring in other dietitians, other practitioners into the space of like education for RBSN in this next year?
I am really passionate about helping other individuals with their career and providing them with resources that I wish that I had when I was starting off as a dietitian and also starting off in the sports nutrition space. There's so many different things that you can do as a dietitian, and I feel like we're not taught a lot of that in school. So we always joke about this this, but we are always kind of throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks because, again, we weren't really taught a lot of the skills that we need to run a private practice, to do sports nutrition, to do counseling, and helping individuals on their journey and making it easier for people to accomplish their goals is something that I think we're both passionate about. We were both able to leave toxic situations in the workplace because of the opportunity to have a private practice. And I think we're both really passionate about helping other individuals, other dietitians, RDs to Bs accomplish the same thing.
Oh my gosh, yes. One of the things that you said to me when we were kind of starting conversations about me coming and working for RBSN full time was there's always room at the table and we always want to make sure that there is space at the table for other people. Neither of us have the idea that giving away these resources that we use in RBSN with our clients and the athletes that we work with is going to prevent us from, seeing clients on our own or anything like that. Like we want that education to be out there and be available for other dietitians because there is room, there is space.
And there's not a lot of resources out there for individuals who want to build a private practice in sports nutrition. I've spent lots of years in coaching and lots of years, trying and failing. And we're really excited that we feel like we're at a point in our company that we can start, take a lot of that learning and give it to other people so other people can be successful too. Another thing too that we haven't mentioned is we are going to have a community piece to RBSN as well, the RBSN library. So something that we're going to have as part of all of the downloadable resources and part of the bundles is a private RBSN community where we'll do the private podcast. We'll do Q&As, so we'll answer questions. You can ask questions that you have about sports nutrition, building a business, private practice, maybe working in a college setting. And then we're also going to have the opportunity to do like CEU webinars as well. So people can get continuing ed from the bundles and the downloadable resources as well.
I think it's such a huge thing to continue to create communities for dietitians, especially because in so many of my previous roles, I've been the only dietitian in that clinic or in that space, and you don't have the opportunity to like bounce off ideas from other people or get insight. It's wonderful that we're creating a space where you do have the opportunity to have that community, ask questions of peers and get someone else's opinion, because there's things that I don't know, and I'm glad that I have the ability to talk with other dietitians and hear what they would do in those scenarios.
Exactly. And sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. So being able to hear from other people, hear and learn from what other people are asking or what other people are doing is really important. So really excited. The RBSN library is going to have resources for, again, athletes and professionals, but we're really hoping to just increase accessibility to share what we've done and hopefully, help inspire other people and help them reach success and also get into better situations, maybe a less toxic workplace, have better work-life balance, make more money, have some flexibility, which I think is the biggest pro, at least for me, working in private practice, is that flexibility. I mean, I think sometimes we look at business coaches and things like that online and they're like, I work for an hour a day. And I don't know if that's real. I don't know anybody who's actually doing that, but we work really hard, but we have the flexibility to work when we want to work and we enjoy the work that we do.
Yeah, enjoying the work that we do. I'm excited, I'm happy, and I'm proud to say that I work at RBSN. Before we wrap up this episode, I do want to say the other final component that RBSN is rolling out in the new year is our Fueling for Life membership, which is another option to, kind of create that space, create that community for people who are maybe interested in working with a dietitian but aren't sure if they need that one-on-one support. We are creating an option for people to still be involved in the RBSN community without maybe one-on-one coaching with Riley and I. Our Fueling for Life membership is a self-paced program. So if you're someone who works on a little bit tighter of a schedule, this is a great option for you to still have the availability to reach all of our content, join our group calls and be part of our community, and add one-on-one coaching if that suits you later on. But a wonderful way to just start that fueling journey and get yourself familiar with some of the things that we do at RBSN. Riley and I are so excited about RBSN in 2024. From our one-on-one coaching, our Fueling for Life membership, and also our new RBSN library, we're so excited for January 1st for all of those things to really become available to all of the dietitians, clients, coaches, and athletes that might want to take advantage of them. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Eat More Carbs podcast. We're so excited to carry into 2024. We couldn't do it without the support of our listeners, so we're so very thankful that y'all tune in on Tuesdays to listen to the Eat More Carbs podcast. As always, make sure you rate, subscribe, and review. If you have any questions for us, you can leave them in the comments or you can DM us on Instagram. We're at the Eat More Carbs podcast. You can find me on Instagram at jenna.fisher.nutrition, and you can find Riley at riley.bd.nutrition. Thanks again for listening, and as always, remember to eat more carbs.